Hey, what's up, everybody? Josh here. Welcome to the R-Rated Show. Welcome to my review of Mandalorian Episode 3, and no complaints here. Great episode. Still being very consistent. 3 episodes out of 8, and still feeling the vibe. I'm still digging it. Great balance, great storytelling. Not really breaking any molds here, but I think we're all, I think I can speak for us safely when I say that most of us are pretty happy that we're not. It's nice to get a simple, sort of straightforward story that we can all kind of grab onto. And so there's no complaints here that they're not trying something outrageous. Maybe they're just telling like a space spaghetti western here, and like a little bit of a lone wolf cub thing going on. And I really enjoy the humor. I enjoy Baby Yoda a lot. I enjoy Mando's character. We're finding out more about him, and we're finding out more about the Mandalorian in general. But I really enjoyed this episode. Getting to the slideshow over here. So that was really interesting that they had set up this little device here in the beginning. What they call an objective correlative is essentially they give you an object or something that they it follows through the course of the story, or it starts out as one thing and ends up as another. And this sort of gear shifter thing and the Mandalorian's ship, sort of like a representation, a metaphor for their blossoming relationship or how he feels about Baby Yoda. And I really wish we could get a name for Baby Yoda other than Baby Yoda. It seems like Baby Yoda's taken over the fucking internet right now. I mean, Baby Yoda is what they wanted Porgs to be, I mean, he's just, you can't help but smile when you see him. But I did notice that little storytelling device, which I thought was really cool. And, yeah, so that comes back into play a little bit later on. But I thought it was really funny. He's like, that's not a toy. He picks him up and he puts him in his little bassinet egg. And it's just... you can't help but smile and laugh every time you see little Baby Yoda, and especially because there's such a juxtaposition of characters. The Mando is like this sort of hardened warrior, bounty hunter type, and man of few words, and it's just always funny to see him and this giggly little Yoda kind of have interactions. But you start to get the feeling that Mando might be fond of him, right? And then so he drops him off to collect his bounty, and he does collect. He gets a giant bounty of Beskar steel, so he can continue to build his armor, which is his ultimate goal. I think Mandalorians are about honor and pride and being a warrior, and constantly improving yourself, and building your armor up. And I think it's just sort of like a representation of your abilities and your pride, right? So, he's like, score, got this giant, lot of Beskar metal or Beskar steel now, and I can go to the forger and continue building out my armor. And, you could tell, you get the sense that he's kind of like contemplative about his decision, especially when you see little Baby Yoda being taken away, and he kind of feels bad. And when he goes to the forger to get a new breastplate made, it's pretty interesting because he first of all has a confrontation with some other Mandalorians, just based on the fact that it's been forged by the Empire in some way. And the Empire apparently is what forced that whole skirmish going on in the galaxy, forced the Mandalorian to go underground. And I don't know exactly why yet. We haven't found out maybe exactly why they were made to go into hiding, but they aren't happy that he is collecting bounties where he's getting paid by these shady characters who have some sort of allegiance to the previous Empire. And it's interesting because it shows that the Mandalorian, they have like boundaries they won't cross, right? But he tells the forger about his confrontation with the Mudhorn, which is like that giant rhinoceros character that he had to fight in the last episode, and they want to give him his insignia insignificant, but he turns it down because it wasn't a noble kill, because the enemy had helped him vanquish his enemy. And it's interesting. Another interesting thing, they're fleshing out the Mandalorian. Maybe the show isn't just about one specific Mandalorian only, but maybe it's about him and the Mandalorian as a race. So, it's broadening our understanding of the Mandalorian, which I'm enjoying a lot. It's really cool. So this guy confronts him. He says, look, this was forged in this certain place, and therefore I can tell that, you're consorting with essentially the people who have been oppressing us. And I just threw this image in here because there's like Boba Fett's everywhere now. It's like, I'm like, is that Boba Fett? No, wait, is that Boba Fett? Is that, and I don't think any of them are Boba Fett. I wonder if they're going to maybe squeeze him in as a cameo somewhere in this first season. But it's obvious that, they all follow a certain formula in terms of how they present themselves as warriors. And Boba Fett's no, and Jango Fett, they're no, exception to the rule. And so, a lot of these guys walk around look like Boba Fett's, but I'm not seeing, it's pretty shady in there, but I'm not seeing that bright green and red, you know what I mean? So when she's forging his new breastplate, he's starting to have these flashbacks, and this is an important scene because it shows you why he has empathy for Baby Yoda and why he's contemplating his decision to turn him in and collect his bounty, because he himself was a orphan and taken in by the Mandalorian, and so he's starting to feel, I guess, guilty and have empathy for this, this poor Baby Yoda creature. And I think he knows there's something special about it. Maybe they have some sort of destiny together. And they throw in this little flashback scene, I think, to remind us there's a reason why he has empathy for Baby Yoda. So he goes back to, I can't remember this character's name, Carl Weathers, and he wants to just get, he's obviously very happy, and he's saying, hey, look, why don't you just enjoy the fruits of your labor? And he's like, just give me the next fucking bounty. He's like, fuck you, scumbag. Like, I just want to get back out there. And so he collects a new puck to go get his new bounty, to find his new bounty, his next project, so to speak. And there's a little interesting scene here where he's like, we're all getting rich here. And he shows a few bars of Beskar of steel tucked away in his cloak. And comes in, that's important later. There's a little scene here where it brings us back to that gear shift knob where he reaches over and it's not there, and he has that moment where he realizes that he's having a moment, he has like a moment of clarity in the situation. He's thinking to himself, I can't do this to this poor orphan, because I understand what it's like to be in that situation. And so it changes his mind about what to do. He's like, I just collect this bounty and go off to the next adventure, right? But he can't do it, so he goes back and he blows a hole in the building to go in and collect Baby Yoda back, and basically slays a bunch of renegade stormtroopers, and he toasts one, which I thought was a great scene. I love it whenever Mandalorian uses that flamethrower, and he just totally roasts this fucking stormtrooper. It's awesome. And from there, he ends up in a situation where he's surrounded by these stormtroopers, like 4, 5, 6 of them, and you think they've bested him. But remember, when we go back to when he turned in that Beskar steel, that she actually upgraded his weapons to have this whistling birds, which is these, I guess, little mini torpedoes on his gauntlet there. And he whips that out, kicks their ass, and makes his way out to the fanfare where he's trying to get onto the ship and get out of there with Baby Yoda. And it's just like classic Western shot here where he's having a confrontation with his bounty dealer. And it's just such a Western. I love that they're doing the Clint Eastwood shot. It's just straight out of Hollywood. I love it. It's really cool. And they're just saying, hey, if you turn over the bounty, maybe we'll let you walk out of here alive. And he just can't go for that. So He puts up a fight and manages to take out a lot of them, but he ends up being surrounded and essentially he's pinned down. He's used up all his tricks. He doesn't know what to do, and all of a sudden his Mandalorian, it's previously established in the episode that they only kind of pop out one at a time. The Mandalorian, they don't walk freely in the streets. It's almost like as if they're kind of hiding their numbers, and the bounty hunters are sort of like the suppressed race that are maybe being eliminated one by one or just sought after to be destroyed, and so they kind of only go out one at a time. And they come to his rescue, and all these bounty hunters, they come out, show themselves in order to back up their brother. I mean, they might have confrontations behind closed doors, but when it comes down to it, when it comes to brass tacks, they got each other's backs because they're warriors and they're part of a tribe. And it was awesome. It's like they all come out of the woodwork to save him essentially and take out his enemies. This guy was fucking awesome. He's got a goddamn hip cannon here, and his jetpacks, and it's just, seeing the Mandalorians in their full glory, right? I really enjoyed that scene. And then, so Mandalorian makes it to his ships, and everybody, he makes his getaway. But right as the ramp's coming up on his ship, Carl Weathers standing there, and he's pointing his blaster at him, and Mandalorian manages to get the best on him and shoots him, and you think he's dead. And I was kind of like, oh man, that's a drag, because I want to see more Carl Weathers, because I'm a Carl Weathers fan. And you think he's dead. Mandalorian slips away, but you see as he's laying on the ground, he reaches in. And this is an old trick in westerns too, because usually in those days, in an old school western, he'd reach in, you think he's dead, but he's not. And it's because he's got a Bible tucked away in his front breast pocket, right? And here they do it with the Beskar steel, which I thought was a cool, like, little wink to an old school Hollywood trick, Mandalorian's getting away, and this is such a classic Favreau scene. It really reminded me of Iron Man so much, the first one, and it was really cool. He gives him the salute. It's like, hey, I got your back, and essentially, Mandalorian says, man, I gotta get one of those. So maybe we're gonna get some jetpack action in the future once they get some more collects more bounties. And essentially that was it. It was just a great episode. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's 40 minutes, felt like 20, not easy to sit through. I'm really enjoying these episodes. They're a lot of fun. The tone is very consistent. The writing's consistent. And I always get a laugh, a chuckle. I'm really enjoying Baby Yoda. When I first saw him in the first episode, I was like, uh-oh, this could be really cringy and terrible. And the thing is that little creature is just so endearing, even though I know it's not Yoda. Hopefully we'll get a name for him soon, unless it's like cloned Yoda maybe, but I'm just really having fun. This is fun. Certain things, they come along and they're just cool, they're fun, and you enjoy it, and it's just so nice and refreshing to have a Star Wars product, that's like that we can enjoy, that we can have fun with. I mean, it's a fun little adventure. It's lighthearted. It's not too serious. And it's set up in a way that we can understand it, wrap our minds around it really easy, digest it in short episodes. And I have a feeling 8's going to be here real quick, and we'll be wanting more. And I know they're already working on season 2. So we'll be getting plenty more of Mandalorian. Maybe, who knows, they'll stretch it out to be 12 episodes next season. But I'm really enjoying this so much. They're doing a great job. We still have 5 more episodes to go, so we can only hope that they don't screw it up. Still a little bit on edge about it, but I think Favreau and Filoni have got control over this, and they're doing a great job. And so, essentially, let's see if there's anything in my notes I didn't talk about here. So, yeah, Mando's got that pimpin' armor. He's going to be kicking ass and taking names. Oh, I like the name of the episode, The Sin. I think they named it The Sin because I think Mando, the Mandalorian, committed the ultimate sin by caring about his bounty and breaking the deal that he had, and essentially with the buyer of the bounty, the commissioner of the bounty. By breaking that, he's breaking his honor, and I think that in the Mando, probably religion and their circle, that is a sin. But at the same time, they did back him up. So who knows? Maybe they see it as a distinguished act of some sort. And I also thought about, how Mando's got that awesome gun, and how he can basically disintegrate people. And it just occurred to me in this episode, I don't know why, but I thought that's why Vader says to Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back, "No disintegrations." So yeah, I picked up on that little detail, and I like their little mantra, which is "This is the way." And this show is the way back to good Star Wars content. I'm hoping. 5 more episodes to go. I hope they don't screw it up. I think it's going to be good. But essentially, I'm really enjoying it. There's my review of episode 3, The Mandalorian. I'll be back next Friday or Saturday for my review of episode 4. And if you enjoy this content, please subscribe. Trying to make it to 1,000 subs. Want to monetize, want to live stream, and gonna have a lot more great content on the channel for you. So until next time, guys, stay awesome, stay R-rated. Cheers. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We've got a lot of great content coming for you this year. We've got reviews for movies, comics, and more. And of course, we will always have fan commentaries for the movies you love. Lots of talk about horror and just mainstream pop culture in general. And probably some Star Wars stuff leading up to Rise of Skywalker. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, and become a fan of the channel. Let's hear what you want to see. Leave a comment below, and just let me know what you think. Alright guys, talk to you later.